Nemesis was watching Senatop coaching video? Why? I don't know, man. Our fight was like almost a year ago. It was literally almost a year ago. We are coming up on a year. And then, tried to talk with him in February, and then again in March, but I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't just the he wouldn't go to C9 stuff with me. I mean, there's other stuff too, but I was in a really miserable mental state altogether. I would like there was like other really small stuff that was going on. And also, I also think that there's probably some misunderstandings that could have been talked about better so that there was more clarity. And I think the misunderstandings make things seem worse than they actually are because they were never talked about. And this is like little stuff that would happen, you know? I think a lot of it just has to do with I was not very emotionally well, and I left the house in Incheon. I went to Daejeon because I felt like I was gonna. I really felt like I was going to actually snap if I stayed in Incheon, because there was so much stuff in the house that that was perma stressing me out, and so I felt like I had to leave, and I disappeared for like 6 weeks. It's sad to think about. It really is. It actually is. It's actually sad to think about. I think for like literally 3 years, I probably talked to him every day. I think the amount of time that we sat on Discord together was obscene. Tried to help him a lot when he was on Fnatic. I met him in 2019. I mean, I did like private coaching sessions with Fnatic too, even, you know, to try to like help him in Whippo and other stuff. That's how I got to talk to Reckless. Tried to help a lot. And when he did the pivot into content creation, I tried to help a lot too. Like perma rating, hosting him, everything. I mean, he helped me a lot too. It's not, this isn't like a one-way thing, right? I know that someone as good as him always like appearing in content with me was also directly good for me too. I also know that, you know, he helped a lot with like other stuff, right? He helped me with like you know, he was one of the people I would talk with about like patron tier lists. He would retweet like content that I would make and stuff, and I would retweet content that he would make too. But he would retweet content that I would make. He would retweet, you know, stuff for T1 and stuff. And I mean, you know, we did a lot, and he had a really great arrival to Korea. His viewership was nuts. His viewership was insane last year, April. We had a fight too last summer where we didn't talk for like 2 weeks, and everything was really weird. With like it was me, him, and the video editor. We just didn't talk for like 2 weeks, and I can't even for the life of me remember what happened. Actually can't remember for the life of me what happened. I knew less about managing some of my stressors and anxiety back then too. I think I learned a lot in the last year. Especially after I moved away and I was so disconnected from everything.
Really the time to praise ourselves.
The house stuff was really fucked. When Onion had to leave the house, there was like problems with the Koreans that were living here. Like, Wind was permanently drunk and making noise. And it was very depressing for me. Wind, like, I can't remember who it was that told me. They told me that I needed to talk to Wind because Wind was just passed out, wasted, like blackout drunk, like naked on the floor. It was the weirdest, like, Onion had to leave the house, Wind was having problems with, like, his family stuff. I had to deal with, Onion's, like, there was a really scary event, people will remember this on stream, where Onion got suicidal, And you guys might remember this. I was literally live viewing LEC when they came into my room and said that I needed to find Onion and talk to Onion. So I had to turn off the stream and I had to find Onion. And I would talk to everyone about, like, stuff that was going on with them, and I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to about stuff going on with me, and I was mentally fucking breaking. And then, the thing with Malice, too, is, like, also whatever, right? I mean, I literally just, I opened up my phone and I read the chat logs. I let, you know, if people want to interpret it, you interpret it however the hell you want, right? I think I learned a lot about my own triggers and coping stuff and a lot of stuff like this last year. I also think, like, the 1 month break that I just took. I mean, I'm still not really great. I'm not. I'm very sad. I'm very sad and I'm very hopeless. But I'm trying to do, like, a lot of momentum-based stuff right now, like in my day-to-day, with, like, immigration and health stuff and you know, therapy. I have therapy every week, sometimes twice a week. I have therapy tomorrow. I think my distrust for people led to me behaving in many ways over the years, and I think that I was really bad. I mean, I think I was really worse years ago with managing some of my emotions and stuff than I am now. I think I'm a lot better now. I'm trying to think about stuff. I don't know. Nemesis was a good friend. And I think both of us made I think both of us did dumb shit at times, like arguments that we had with one another. I think I probably did more dumb shit. Well, I did do more dumb shit than him at some times because I was just perma stressed out and stuff, and he doesn't, or at least I don't think he deals with stress the same way that I do. I think there's also, like, things that are, like, misunderstandings. I wholeheartedly do believe that it is misunderstandings, but I think he would have his own perspective on it that is negative, whereas I know that it's a misunderstanding. I know it's a misunderstanding on certain things that maybe happened. I also know that, like, some arguments were just because there wasn't transparency. You know, it sucks. You know? The C9 stuff sucked, too. It wasn't just the C9 stuff, you know? And then after that, I was really angry with Nemesis for a long time. And I just remember that month, because you got to understand that from, like, the last time that I talked to Nemesis and that month, I was still doing all the C9, like, roster signings and trying to get a team and trying to do all this other stuff and yada, 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 right? And I just remember still being perma-mad, like, the whole month. Even in December, I was so mad. It really was. I was just so upset. I really wanted to do that together with him. He felt like he was my best friend. Like my IRL best friend. I would say that, like, Nyoken is probably, like, my best friend that's also, like, a confidant that's older than me. Nyoken's definitely one. And then Max. Max is someone that I consider, like, Max I don't talk to for really long periods of time, and I wasn't talking with Max for a lot. I considered Max, like, my greatest friend, in the sense that I think I would do anything to help him if he ever needed it. But I wouldn't always talk to Max, and I hadn't, you know, seen Max in many years. Joe Marsh, I consider, like, Joe Marsh is like a mentor friend slash, like, Joe Marsh is like mentor, friend, big brother, father figure type. Yeah, but Joe Marsh is cool. Joe Marsh is awesome. Joe Marsh is absolutely insane. But, like, there was that tweet I made in September where it's like, is every friendship I have just transactional? Like, literally. And then when I realized that every friendship's transactional, then I'm going to start treating every friendship like it's transactional. Like, I would get, like, oh, dude, it just sucks, man. It's like everyone only wanted to be friends with me because either I would pay for everything, or I had money, or they could come on the stream, or, like, they thought that I could do something for them in esports. And it's like, that was all that I knew. I talked a lot about this with Double Lift in, like, that 4-hour call I had with him last week, you know? And it sucks, you know? I felt like every fucking relationship I had was transactional. Sanch is really good. Sanch is a real one. Sanch is a real one. Sanch is real. I really blew up with... I really blew up with Sanch. I really blew up with Sanch. Me and Sanch had a real, actual, huge, like, fight. And a long time passed, and then, you know... I really thought me and Sanch would never talk again. But, you know, time passed, and Sanch would keep showing up in the stream. Even though we weren't talking, he would show up in the stream, and whenever I had, like, bad moments, he would, like, message me and stuff. Sanch was always a real one. Sanch is legit real. Sanch is real. Sanch is very real. Sanch messages a lot. There's a lot of people who message a lot when you don't expect it, you know? And then, like, this past month, though, the silence was very deafening from a lot of people, right? A lot of people are CBA. With talking about stuff. A lot of people don't want to deal with you when you're barking, you know? It's sort of like, imagine that, like, there's this really, like, there's a dog, right? Everyone wants to pet the dog as long as it's not barking, but when the dog's barking, no one wants to go near it, right? And I feel like sort of the same way, right? People are fine, like, talking to me and stuff when I'm, you know, putting out a video a day on YouTube, and I'm on Twitter all the time, and I'm, you know, I can help their engagements, or, oh, maybe they can come on the co-stream, or, like, and it just fucking sucks, man. These relationships just really suck. But I think also I had such fears over so many different other things that I started getting more reserved, and I started getting more... I started treating myself better in deals than I would with others, you know? And what I mean by that is, like, I was never... I would always put myself first, was what I was starting to do with a lot of stuff, you know? It was bad. Dude, I was so fucked up last year in August when I went on the break. There's some dark stories. There is some genuinely really fucked up dark stories about mental health. There's also other stories that aren't, like, public and stuff, and yada yada yada. I've been talking about this with my therapist too. There's a lot of, like, bad things that I think that I do habitually as, like, a defense mechanism or, like, a survival thing, and I don't want to do it to other people anymore. And it's almost like instinctual to do it now, because I'm just perma on defense and perma afraid of things and different outcomes. I've been talking about this with my therapist. Last, like, 2 sessions, it's been one of the major topics. Like, yeah. There are some people who I no longer associate or, like, talk to, obviously, and I don't care about it, right? I genuinely don't care. Like, I can realize from, like, an objective standpoint that they display so many characteristics and they've done so many things where it's just like, I do not care. Like, you know? Like, good. We don't talk, right, anymore. Or, like, I don't know them anymore. Because, again, actions over a prolonged period of time are infinitely more honest than any words someone can say. And you also never know what people are saying about you behind the scenes. Or sometimes you do, and they don't know that you do. So, you know, I mean, that's always the thing. No, Macaiyla's fine. Macaiyla's a real one. Macaiyla's really good. Macaiyla's really good. Macaiyla's a good friend. Macaiyla's a very good friend. Macaiyla's a very good friend. But there are people that I don't talk to anymore. And when I pause and just monitor, like, all the other actions over time, all the fucking things that happened, it's just like, good, they're not in my life anymore. Thank good. Like, there was literally almost nothing to come out of it that was good. It was always like, it was just bad. No, not Nemesis. Nemesis is probably someone that I do genuinely feel bad that we don't talk anymore. Oh. Me and Nemesis would have, like, fights. I think all friends have fights. And I think that, like, the nature of esports and the way that I can get emotionally and the way that I can get, like, paranoid and other stuff, like, not the best, you know? drututt's good behind the scenes. Behind the scenes to me is very good. I talked to Crowny a couple of weeks ago. Never had, like, serious talks with Dom outside of, like, our talk shows or, like, stream stuff, you know? Fudge is really good. Fudge is really good. The talk I had with Fudge and Creo is one of my favorite talks that I've had in a really long time. I just wish people were more honest with, like, I wish people were more honest and transparent, and I wish that if people didn't know things, then they would just be more direct and blunt and ask for, like, clear, concise answers, you know? So that things aren't, like, fucking misunderstandings. That's what I feel bad about. It also, like, really bothers me when, I don't know. When people will think that things are one way when they're not another. I don't know. It sucks. Moxie's really cool behind the scenes. Talk with Moxie a lot. Moxie also reaches out periodically if I don't like message him. Asks how stuff's going. Asks mental health. How did we get started on this? Someone said something about Nemesis. Then I went down memory lane. He had his birthday recently, right? 2 weeks ago. Also, it makes, I don't know. I feel like people think, sometimes they think certain things about Nemesis that I don't think are actually true or reflective. And I think it makes me upset when that happens too. I think Nemesis is actually a good person behind whatever personality people will think and everything else when you read stuff. The upset stuff happened last year, which was really bad. The whole, like, stuff that people will say about him on comments and, like, Reddit comments and stuff is really gross, too. People always have, like, their on-stream persona and their off-stream persona, and I think that Nemesis, obviously is perma-on defense a lot, and I think much like me, I was always perma-on defense a lot and stuff, and so I think there was a lot of similarities in how we, like, you know, he would respond to things and how I used to respond to things, and I could recognize that. I don't know. About the Nemesis thing, I don't know. We never had a final talk. Our last talk ever was a Discord call where I got really upset. I got really upset, and then I ended the call, and I said that I was so upset with him that I was just gonna do the last episode of League Nightmares solo, and then I tried to find someone to do it with me, and I ended up getting Fudge. That was our last call ever. And I was so angry for the remainder of November while I was trying to get the roster for C9 and trying to figure out who the fuck's going to join and everything. And then I was livid in December too. Oh, God, I was so mad. I was so angry for so long because it just didn't make sense to me. But also, I was so hell-bent in my own, like, self-system. That's what I mean, like, the negative aspects of my own personality, you know? In that time period. Something that I had to, like, reflect on a lot these last few months. I really wholeheartedly do stand by that when he decided not to do it, I should have also decided not to do it, and I should have just stayed on T1 and stayed in Korea. At that point, that's what I should have done. But I made a really selfish decision, and I tried to convince myself that I had to do it, and I was really trying to convince myself every fucking reason that I had to do it. And that's what happened. And then it really hurt me and made me really angry that it didn't seem like he was as angry about the fallout as I was. And that made me confused. You know what I mean? That made me angry too. Thinking about it. Yeah, people can show things differently. That's what, you know, I don't know. It sucks. Nemesis was a good friend. Nemesis was a good friend. I could have been a better friend. I think we both just didn't talk to each other enough about problems that maybe we had in the friendship. And I think that 3-month cycle was just really bad. And if I would go back, I would obviously do things differently, knowing how I would react to things now and thinking about everything the way that I have now. I think stuff was, yeah, not good. I hope that memory lane talk wasn't super bad for you guys. Am I cool with Onion? Dude, Onion has shown me some really good character in terms of, like, how he values his friendship with me. Onion's here right now. Onion's going through a lot. Onion has been dealt a really fucked up life in the last, like, year. When I was going through a lot in, like, April and May and stuff, Onion would come and just visit to hang out briefly and just talk. And literally, there is nothing that Onion can, like, there's literally nothing that Onion can, like, offer me or that I can offer Onion anymore. And he would still just, like, come and hang out and everything. And